Michael Dwyer, Associated Press. The Blake Griffin era in Detroit appears to be over. Both Griffin and the team announced Monday that the veteran forward would be held out of the lineup going forward, with ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that the Pistons will continue to pursue trade scenarios involving Griffin, and talks on a contract buyout with his agent Sam Goldfeder of Excel Sports could eventually come into focus. Pistons general manager Troy Weaver told WOJ, after extensive conversation with Blake's representatives, it has been determined that we will begin working to facilitate a resolution regarding his future with the team that maximizes the interests of both parties. We respect all the effort Blake has put forth in Detroit and his career and will work to achieve a positive outcome for all involved. Griffin added in a statement, "I am grateful to the Pistons for understanding what I want to accomplish in my career and for working together on the best path forward." Vincent Goodwill at Vince Goodwill Blake Griffin wants to play meaningful games. The Pistons are in a different direction, with young players who need minutes. Therefore, an amicable breakup was inevitable. Trading the 31-year-old will be tough. Generally, when aging stars, or former stars, depending on whether you think Griffin's struggles this year are a rough patch or his new normal, have huge contracts like Griffin, teams trying to deal them are able to make two types of moves: deal him for another player with an equally large and prohibitive contract. Think the Russell Westbrook-for-John Wall swap. Deal him to a team with salary cap space to absorb the player's large contract. Generally, you also part with some assets like young players or draft picks in such a deal. Both scenarios will be difficult for the Pistons to make work. The former is tricky for two reasons. 1. Griffin is really struggling this year, averaging just 12.3 points and 5.2 rebounds per game while shooting 36.5% from the field. He wasn't much better last year, posting 15.5 points and 4.7 rebounds per game while shooting an abysmal 35.2% from the field. It's hard to market Griffin as a star at this point. A string of injuries have simply turned him into a shell of his former self, which included 5 All-Star game appearances in his first 6 seasons. Maybe a new environment gets more out of him, but the Pistons aren't going to get a major return for him based on his play. It gets even harder to deal him when you take into account his $36.5 million contract for this season or the $38.9 million player option for next year he'll absolutely exercise. Even if you could find a player-for-player fit in a trade, let's say the San Antonio Spurs wanted to move off the struggling LaMarcus Aldridge, 14.1 ppg, 4.3 rpg, 47.6 FG percentage, and were willing to roll the dice on Griffin, hoping he was able to work his way closer to his previous form, matching the money would be tricky.